and I kissed.
Okay,
and then her boyfriend got mad because
kissed
they were.
Is such a strong word for
it
what
is
happened.
a strong word, but that is, and this is where we have to give him some credit. Is we did kiss.
We did. Okay, but can I just say the kiss that was kissed was.
It was a peck. We pecked.
It was like.
But that's never how he would see it.
Okay, but the other thing was that he cheated on me. Hey guys, and welcome back to Friend Crush Podcast. Today, my friend crush is Max Zavidow. He is probably, you know him as my work husband. We are not actually married, much to the dismay of the internet community. We have threatened engagement multiple times. We have also broken up that engagement. Max is genuinely one of my closest friends, so it was so great chatting with him today. He and I started stand-up together. He is the hardest worker I know. He is brilliant, like such a genius. He also refers to himself as the encyclopedia of the internet. So this is a fun fact about Max, if you ask him about any video, number of views, anything that anyone's ever posted ever, he knows it. And that just is a testament to his talent and how passionate he is about the internet itself. So if you haven't seen his videos, he's former teen heartthrob on Instagram and TikTok. I am so excited to see where he goes with the online platform. He is ride or die online. And it was so interesting talking to him today, just about how he approaches his work, how he sees the trajectory of the internet space and comedy within that. So we had a really great conversation. And of course, we shared funny stories about puke. So it's really well-rounded, and I hope you guys enjoy. Let's get into it. Hello! Welcome to the podcast, Max Zavidow.
Hey.
Hey.
Hi.
Hey.
Hi.
How you feeling today?
Good. I'm feeling good. Happy to be here.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful day out. Green bugs all over me for some reason. I haven't seen that. It's fun.
Spring.
It's spring and it's sprung. So.
They're obsessed with you. Those little bugs.
Yeah, I think it's wonderful.
Wait, so let's start the pod with how do we know each other?
We know each other through stand-up comedy. We met in October of 2021 at
This is like you're like giving me like the textbook. I thought you were like, we're friends, and you're like, so it was fall 2021.
It was.
I saw her from across the room.
It was late. I met her on a Halloween show.
Oh my God! Wait, wow, you really remember?
And then I think like a week later, I saw you at an open mic.
Yes.
It was in Brooklyn. It was a place that closed down.
I remember that.
What was it called?
That I forget.
Yeah.
But it was it was in Williamsburg.
It was like one of the first open mics I ever went to. And then we were friends from October until March of 2022.
Yes.
And then you told me that we couldn't be friends.
Yes.
And then we weren't friends from, I want to say, March to probably like July or August.
Yeah.
And then we reconnected.
Which was coincidentally when my boyfriend dumped me.
Yeah.
Oh, I wonder what happened there.
As we've gotten older and older, the reason why people are like starting to side with your ex in terms of why we couldn't be friends.
Wait, really?
Because the story is that at a New Year's Eve party, Yvette and I kissed.
Okay.
And then her boyfriend got mad because
kissed is such a strong word for what happened.
It is a strong word, but that is, and this is where we have to give him some credit, is we did kiss.
We did. Okay, but can I just say the kiss that was kissed was.
Yeah, it was a peck. We pecked.
It was like.
But that's never how he would see it.
Okay, but the other thing was that he cheated on me. Like a couple weeks before that.
Yes, I forgot about that.
So that's why he was sensitive about it, was because I got so mad at him for cheating on me.
And then we pecked.
And then Max and I were playing
like a New Year's Eve, friend peck.
On New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
And I was like, and I was drunk. And then I look over at my boyfriend and his jaw is on the ground and he was like, see, you can't be mad at me. And then he was like, and then we proceeded to have like the most toxic relationship you can even really imagine. I'm sure people have outdone what I did, but still,
well, the reason why our friendship came to a head was because we like were good friends, and then you were having a birthday party, and I didn't get invited, but I was like, but like that was like so, like just not that was so surprising that it would seem like a mistake.
Right.
It was like I didn't get my call back to the JFL event audition, and. I saw Sarah at an open mic and she was like, that literally is a mistake. And I was like, okay, cool. I'll text her.
Okay, can I also say Sarah knew it wasn't a mistake? She just didn't want to be the person to tell you.
That's so funny. And like, fair on her. I wouldn't want to tell someone that they're hated.
It wasn't that you were hated. It was that my boyfriend literally said, I mean, not said, but it was heavily implied that he would break up with me if you were there at my party. Yeah. And then he missed my party.
That's hilarious.
Because he hated me. And then I was like, well, Max could have been here.
Yeah.
And then he broke up with me anyway.
It's okay. We made our way back to each other.
Yeah. You were when I first texted, I think, after it ended.
Nice
because
text.
I was
I appreciated that text.
Yeah, and I apologized profusely many times. Yeah. And now you're one of the most important relationships in my life.
So it's great that it all came to a head. People find each other their way back to one another. Yeah. If they're supposed to.
And that gives me a lot of confidence in, you know, life is long and people evolve.
Yeah.
Because I learned a lot.
You know, so if there are other people out there that are thinking, maybe I should apologize to Max, it's welcome.
Yeah. And you're great at accepting apologies and growing from those lessons.
Yeah. So that's how we know each other, is from stand-up and kissing.
Yeah. And also we're engaged.
And also we are engaged. Well, not yet publicly, but in time.
Yeah, we'll come out at some point as engaged. Yeah. Do you harbor any resentment for me?
No, I really, and that's something that's interesting. I think like once I can understand where someone was coming from, it's very easy for me to let go and move on.
That's a beautiful quality.
Yeah.
Sometimes I wake up in like a cold sweat thinking like, what if Max has like an inkling of like resentment?
Well, I think, I mean, if I can like understand why someone did something, like, I don't know, it's just super easy to let go. But I think the greater challenge that I've been trying to explore within myself is, what if you can't understand where someone came from, and you might never understand? How do you let go of those feelings? And to me, that's been the great journey of the last year or so, and it's something I'm excited to continue exploring.
Wow. And now we're in therapy.
Yeah.
This is a therapy pod.
Yeah. So, but anyway, yeah.
When else have you like been able to forgive someone?
Just like my mom, my dad, my sisters, just for doing things that were, I mean, traumatic, but like I understand, like they didn't have anything to do with me. Yeah. And so if it doesn't have anything to do with me, which it rarely does, and nothing really ever has to do with the other person, but that's when I can, let go. But just with, I mean, my dad was in jail as a kid. My sister had some mental health stuff. She's doing great now, and she looks great. Beautiful. The rhinoplasty was fantastic. Just like my mom, but I especially if someone can, if I see demonstrated growth, it's awesome, and it makes it so much easier to just move on.
So you believe people can change?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do.
I've also seen you change a lot. Yeah, you've changed a lot since we've met and become friends. Yeah. And also, I mean, to like, ground this in sort of like our work. So Max and I work together very closely.
That's how
that's like our relationship now. Yeah. And I would rather not spend personal time with you if that's, if that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, that's fine.
If that resonates at all. Yeah. No, I'm kidding. No, Max and I, you're actually like, you're kind of like my sibling, I feel like. You know what I mean? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Like that's our relationship. And then every once in a while, someone comes up to me and is like, are you guys dating?
Oh yeah, I get that a lot.
And I'm like, are you guys looking?
No, they're not.
Are you literally looking at us?
You have to understand that it makes sense that people think we're dating.
Why?
Because we are always together, and we're like heavily implying it often, even under the veil of satire. But like, and even if someone just watched our videos, and like, I just think like anyone that you see on the internet that spends as much time as we do together, they're usually dating, even if their videos aren't about them dating.
Wait, that's kind of true.
Yeah. Yeah. No, people will like come up to us and they'll be like, wait, so are you guys? And we'll be like, no. And then they'll leave and they're like, so they're an idiot. They're literally the dumbest person of all time. Someone thought that I was dating you. No, and that's actually hurtful when you laugh like that about someone just thinking that we would be dating. But
it's because we have no sexual chemistry.
well, like I could see how someone would read that.
Okay. But you're not even like fully straight.
No, I'm not.
So do you want to come out on the pod? You've
As
already
what?
come out.
I've come out like pretty much on everything that I've ever been on.
Yeah, you're pretty openly.
You know, bi was the word for a long time because pan felt annoying, but I think that is what I am. And
well, I think pan is less annoying if you go, I'm pan.
More annoying, actually, like far more annoying. I don't know, just I and this is like something that I've got to. It's just like that I have to work through. I just feel like there's the labels in their specificity almost feel restrictive. Like I don't know if I necessarily identify with anything. I just kind of exist as I am, and yeah. So
also, I feel like you're so devoted to your work.
Yeah.
That it's like, I think the role that like a relationship or like dating would play in like in a normal person's life is not even on your
literally
like
not
you don't
even
have
at all.
space, like the way that you because it's like there was a period of time where so when I first started doing social media full time, Max and I would sit in a room together every single day with
there were
no
windows. Yeah.
And it was summer. Like we could have been outside. But it was
it was fall.
What was first? Oh, you're so right. It was fall.
But
it was like
because you got fired in August.
Yeah, I got fired in August, and then
thank God. You know how sometimes people will say they're like getting fired was the best thing that ever happened to me. I've actually only found that to be the case for the people in my life. You know?
Yeah. Who else has been fired?
Trying to think people that have been fired.
It's
just you.
Just me.
Just you.
So it's just me and I make the most of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we would just like sit in a room together and just sort of share every single thought we've ever had with one another. And then like until we ended up with a sketch.
Yeah. Until we ended up with a video and then we would go make it. And like we used to just like, there are videos that I would like that I think would take most people like a month to make. That we would have I would come to you with the script. 2 days later we would make it, and then the next day I would post it. And like that's even crazy. Today, like
that's a crazy timeline.
Like it takes me like what takes me a month now because I pay a lot more attention to the details, and they're truthfully just like much bigger productions. Like if I had taken that script like a year and a half ago, a year and a half ago, I maybe could have made it in 2 days. But it's because, and maybe the videos would have done just as well, I think is like an interesting lesson is like, it's not always about production value. Like I think my videos feel much grander now, but maybe if I just kind of like ripped them in the way that I used to, where I would just like be like, all right, like we're doing a wedding scene, let's just do it on your roof. Like, I think that kind of introduced like a weird off-putting surreal element to some of the stuff that now feels more grounded. But it was truly like we would just rip them, just have the idea and just do it, and it was crazy. So,
it was awesome.
It was awesome.
There was like a lot of energy in those days, and like we just kind of those days. It was last year.
No, it was
it was like a year and a half ago.
Yeah, it was well over a year ago. You got fired from your job. She still is a notary.
Until like 2026. So if anyone needs anything.
But you got fired, I think, in August, like late August of 2023, right?
Yeah.
And then
one thing about you, never miss a detail.
Never miss a detail. And at that point in time, I considered myself and my videos basically a haven for the unemployed, because people that weren't working were the people that I would hit up to
be in the video.
I would shoot on like Tuesday at 11 a.m. And so it's like, all right, who's funny? and has time right now. Let's rip it. And that's actually like how I got really close with my producer, was because famously one of the most employed people I know, but was in between jobs at the time, and so he would just come shoot with me. Like he's not a cameraman, and he just would show up and just hold the phone and do his thing.
And now he's now incredible.
He's like a producer.
Yeah, he's like evolved through that because he was also passionate about that, and he's like learned the skills now as well. He was the producer on my web series. Josh Levy, incredible work. Thank you so much. Well, so this is sort of an interesting thing about you. You have kind of like an interesting like evolution
of the content that I made, or of my
just in general, but like specifically of the content that you made, but like more broadly. So like, Max, you started as an analyst
in investment banking. Yeah.
Did you always know that was temporary?
I knew it. I knew comedy was in my heart.
Yeah.
But like, you have to be so. I think my gut is to say you have to be like so stupid to like actually do it, but that's just because you do have to be like really courageous to be like, I'm gonna try, and because I mean the path is there in front of you. You're like, I could just do this in some capacity, maybe not investment banking, but you get a job in private equity or corporate strategy, and you make a really nice living, and you have a pretty cushy life, and it's all there from the time you're 22. And so I was scared to do it, but I knew it was in my heart, and I knew I couldn't live with myself if I didn't try. I didn't know that the day that I started, but within 6 months it became apparent that I had to at least try.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's funny that you say courageous as the word, because I feel like, I don't know if, I think the thing that people think is like, oh, you have to like build up this courage. And I'm like, actually, I think if you just kind of just lock out and just kind of go, that's how you do stuff. Like everything that I've ever done, if I put a little bit more thought into it,
just wouldn't have done it.
I wouldn't have done it.
I think that's one of my, I think people's qualities, like their best qualities, are very tightly tied to their worst ones. And I think I'm actually like a pretty thoughtless person, which is why when I first started, I would be able to just like do things that in a day that like most people would prepare for a month.
Right.
And it was because I was like, I'll do it, and like, we'll do it, and we'll figure it out. And we always did. But yeah, I think, I don't think I'm maybe as thoughtless as I once was.
Well, you're kind of like an interesting mix of like,
it's not really thoughtless.
Thoughtless isn't maybe the exact word I would use, but I get what you're saying, because like you, I think the way I would sort of characterize it is that you taught me that you just have to say yes to everything. Like, I think a lot of times people find ways to tell themselves no.
Yeah.
And you are the one person consistently where you go, like, I've sort of tried to train myself out of this, but you know, it's hard not to. It's like a thing you have to really keep in check. But like, I would say like, oh, I want to XYZ, but I can't. Like the second you say but, and then you're the person that comes in and goes, why not? Or like, that's just do it this way. And you dream big and then figure out how to do it.
Yes, that's a big thing with my writing is I write exactly what I would make if I had $1 million. I make what I would want to make if I had like $20 million. And then I just work back to figure out how to do it on my own terms.
Right. Or like
how to do it.
For free or like for a little bit of money.
Yeah. And the budgets have like increased slightly, but
for sure.
It's still like the last video I made for 1/10 of the cost of what someone thought that I made it at. So,
right. Who was that person?
I don't remember, but someone was like, was that video like $20,000? And I was like, because of the locations and the props,
because you did do that.
The hair and the size of the cast and the...
But you're really scrappy, and you're also extremely cheap.
I'm very cheap, so.
And that's something that, put this guy behind a budget, you'll spend no money.
Yeah,
so,
I can figure it out.
And that's really special, and that's a great quality, actually, in this industry.
Thank you. Yeah, no, I mean, people think you need a lot to
to make stuff. Yeah.
Mhm.
But I think with like a network of people and like favors and friends, like you can really get a lot done.
Yeah. Because also, I think a lot of people don't ask for favors because they're like, then I'll be on the hook for something. And it's like, I don't see that as like, now I'm on the hook for something. I'm like, now I get to help this person also.
Right.
And I'm always like what we do for each other, which is like everything.
Yes.
Like if I needed that from someone, like I would also do that for someone because like I think that a lot of life is just born out of doing things. And so I will always, I'll do something even if I don't necessarily see it, the benefit in the moment, because I'm like, just by showing up somewhere, you don't know what's going to happen and you don't know where that'll lead. So I'm very pro just like going somewhere and doing things. So.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Wait, okay. So I want to talk about your comedic evolution in your videos specifically. So, okay. So let's start with, so you were an investment banker, you quit your job when you started blowing up online.
No.
But like, no, you were like at 300K or something on TikTok when you quit.
I was going to quit so I did investment banking.
Oh, right. And then you did the MBA.
Yeah. So I quit investment banking to try comedy in some capacity, in a very real capacity, like in a full-time capacity. But that just meant getting a day job because I didn't want to just leave my job on the premise that I thought I was funny, because so many people think they're funny. And I wanted at least some proof of concept that other people agreed. And so...
Also, being funny is very different from having a career in comedy.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, could not be more different.
Yeah. It's not the funniest people. It's the people that... I mean, that's like something that we hear when we're like, 10 is like hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. Like the funniest people that I know are not the most successful comedians. Yeah. But I wanted to try to have a career in comedy. And so I got an easier job, which was like a 9 to 5 at the NBA doing strategy for the 2K league. And when I started that job, I was like, the day that I start this job, I will go to open mics and I will make videos. And that's what I did. And then the videos took off. That was in January of 2022 that I started at the NBA. By March, April, things were like slowly picking up. And I was at like maybe like 15,000 followers on TikTok. And I was like, you know what? The day that if I ever hit 300,000 followers, that's my sign that no matter how much money I'm making, that's my sign to just go try to do it full time and put all of my energy into it. Because that seemed like such an unrealistic goal. That seemed like something that just wouldn't happen. And so I actually ended up hitting 300 around like July, and I was like, oh fuck. I was like, I didn't think that was gonna happen.
It was like really quick.
Yeah. And then,
but you weren't making money online at that point, or were you?
Minimal, like very minimal money. There were like weird, like one-off opportunities that would come through, where someone would be like, hey, would you go to like MetLife and host like a man on the street thing and we'll pay you like $600? And I was like, sure. And then, a brand deal would come through and they were like, here's another like $1,500. But it was like very piecemeal.
Yeah,
like there was
like
no
consistent.
like steady, consistent. Like I didn't see the path to making money. But I told myself 300K, and when I hit it, I was like, okay, I didn't think that was going to happen. So hold on, let me like slow down for a second. I was on a contract. My contract was up at the end of October, and I was like, let me just get to the end of my contract and see how things are. And at the end of the contract, I had like 500,000 on TikTok, and my boss called me and he was like, Max, like, we'll give you another contract, but will you try harder? And I was like,
hilarious. I
was like, oh.
And you're like, I literally won't.
Alan, thank you for asking me so point blank, because I can't, like, I don't want to. Like, I want to try harder on comedy. If I have any try to go harder on, I want it to be on comedy. So let me just do it because I said I would. And now you're asking me point blank, and it's like, all right, let me just be honest. And I've actually, when you are honest with yourself and the people around you, like that's when great things happen, because the world cannot give you what it does not know you want. And so like I've only ever found good things coming from saying out loud what I want and what I feel.
Okay, manifesting.
No, I mean, that's what it is. When I was in high school, I was a really competitive runner, and I would put the things that I wanted and the times that I wanted on a piece of paper, and I would stick it on my ceiling. So it was like the first thing I saw every morning when I would wake up. And I don't think I hit almost none of the goals because they were so lofty, but I got so close.
Really?
And like a lot of amazing things came from it because I was like, well, this is what I want and this is what I'm going to do. Like I wanted to go to nationals and I wanted to break 9:30 for 2 miles. And, you know, when I wrote those things down, I was like not that good. Like my 2 mile was like, you know, maybe like 10:15, which is great but it's not.
Wait, 10:15?
Like 10, I ran 2 miles in 10 minutes, 15 seconds. But I
like
wanted to.
Not even like per mile, like literally like fully. Oh my God.
And I wanted to do 9:30 and I ended up doing 9:32. And like I didn't go to nationals, but I was the county champion. And so I've always found it super helpful to just like look at the thing that you want every day. And I feel that as I've gotten older and further into my career, and I hope to keep going in my career, I feel like the things that I want are a little bit more ambiguous because the space that I'm in of like content creation is not as defined where I can look and be like, I want a pilot or like I'm going to make a movie. I think the things that I want in some capacity might not exist yet.
Yeah.
And so now it's I would say a little hard for me because I work so well under like very specific goals, but I've kind of accepted it's like the things that I want, I think will reveal themselves in time. And so what I will do for now and possibly forever is just make things that I like.
Yeah.
And hopefully things will come from that. And when things do pop up that I want, be vocal about wanting them and get after them.
Yeah. So what's interesting about you, and that's an interesting point you brought up, is that you're one of the few people that I know in this space where you kind of live and die on the internet. And by kind of, I mean, that's your stated thing.
Yeah.
You don't really, you don't feel the need to make a movie that would be in a theater.
Yeah.
Even though I think you have a skill set for it.
Yeah.
And you love movies, for example.
Yeah.
So I guess I would love to hear like a little bit more about that. Like what, I mean, I guess you just said, you know, it's sort of ambiguous what you really like want, but how did you and when did you sort of have that honest conversation with yourself where you're like, I actually literally just love the internet?
Yeah. Well, I think to start, like, I think like making a movie, making a TV show is something I would love to do over the course of my career. But I'm, you know, it's like when the idea is right. Like when I have the idea for the movie or when I have the idea, like I have ideas where I will start writing them as TikToks or Reels. And I'm like, actually, that's a larger thing. So let me write it as that larger thing. But I'm very pro internet. I can actually, for Just for Laughs, which is a comedy festival, which you don't need to know that. That's just for them. They have a content creator category. And for the content creators, they make you write a statement of artistic purpose.
Yeah.
Where they're just like, why do you make stuff? And I answered that not so much with why do I make stuff point blank, but like, why do I make stuff on the internet?
Yeah.
So I can read that to you.
It's 6 paragraphs.
No, it's like, I think it's like 200 words. But it's like during my senior year of college in the fall of 2019, a professor said, think about what the world will look like in 10 years. Where do you exist in that world? If you have conviction in your vision, work back from there to figure out where to start today and get moving. Later that same week, I downloaded TikTok and my vision for the future and where I wanted to exist in it became immediately clear. I had always wanted to be a comedian and a storyteller. Once I saw TikTok, I knew my career in those fields would run through the phone. My approach to TikTok and Instagram is to not utilize them as platforms, but as mediums with distinct aesthetics, structures, and storytelling rhythms. I want to tell stories that couldn't exist anywhere else. The videos I make are narrative fiction between 2 to 4 minutes long. I call them really short films. Most of the comedy on these platforms, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, is stand-up clips, sketches, or commentary. Very few people are using short form to tell stories built on narrative. I want to make the kind of work I wish to see from others, especially in the places I spend the most time watching media.
Mm.
Another creative motivator for myself is short form often being dismissed as lowbrow. For many comedians, it is seen as a stepping stone on the way to television, film, or live performance. But every prestigious medium was once considered lesser than the one that came before it. What changed that perception was someone talented enough to succeed in the highbrow world, instead choosing to explore the new format on its own terms, not by recreating what already existed, but by inventing something new. With short form content, I see an opportunity to help define a new medium. I hope my videos are an early sign that these formats can hold real storytelling. I want to keep pushing the boundaries of what short form can be and help shape what it becomes. So
It's also funny because you started as a
stand-up.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, a stand-up or a comedy. You were very, and even your early videos were like pegging and like very silly.
Yeah. They were all like in some form like supporting what would hopefully turn into ticket sales and stand-up comedy and tours
Oh, that
and
was
shows.
your goal initially.
Yeah. Mhm.
And then now it's totally different.
Yeah, I just saw a world completely unexplored, and I think the exploration of it is really fun.
Yeah. Wait, so where are you going next then with this? Because I mean, like you've already achieved such an arc from pegging to like, I mean, one of my favorite of your early videos was the Bachelorette, like the Hinge date video where like they beat the shit out of you.
Oh, love that video.
That's
maybe we can play that.
Yeah, I don't know if we can like link that. It's so funny.
Yeah.
Do you want to describe it?
So it's raining out and I'm holding an umbrella and I'm walking with.
See, so that's not an important detail that it's raining.
It kind of is. It makes it really funny. It makes it a lot
You think
funnier.
that's funnier that it's raining?
I think it makes the visuals of the video funnier.
Okay.
I'll explain the video without that. But okay, so I'm walking to a date and I have 4 roses because there are 5 women waiting for me. And I met them all on Hinge and I was going to have them like battle it out Bachelor style to see like who I would continue dating.
Yeah, it's such a simple video because it's literally just face to camera walking. So it feels like you're in it.
Yeah. And then it cuts to me, like the phone's like down here now. And the women are like screaming at me. And then it cuts and I'm sprinting away from them.
And they're all just like, what the fuck?
Yeah, they're like, why would you do that?
Like,
why would you gather us here for a date with you?
And then it cuts to you running away.
Yeah, I'm sprinting away from them and I'm like throwing the roses at them to try and like get them to like slow down. And then it cuts and I'm in my apartment and I have a bloody nose and like a cut lip and a black eye.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, so one of them was really strong and another was really fast. I know why what I did was wrong. Yeah, I think that honestly, like that was a step in like towards the stuff that I do because I think this is less so what I do now, but it's stuff that I've definitely done a lot of is walking the line of like what is real and what's not real.
Yes, absolutely.
It's stuff like in the camp of birds aren't real or I guess like the Enron thing, like it's stuff that I really revere where you're telling stories that look real.
Yeah.
And then it's something that like we've experimented with where you like tell stories over the course of a few videos, but each video itself is standalone.
Well, so what's interesting too about that is that stuff, so that's essentially, I put that in the category of like prank comedy.
Yeah.
Which, because you're essentially pranking the audience.
Yeah. And sorry, wait, keep going. But I have a thought about that.
Oh, well, I was just going to say, I mean, it's funny because that stuff, there's a certain level of vulnerability that it takes to do something like that. Because for me, I don't like doing that.
Yeah, because people will be like, most people won't be in on the joke.
Right. I don't want I want everyone to know what is a joke and what's not a joke. It makes me uncomfortable thinking someone could
misconstrue.
Yeah, like see something, they're like, is that true? Like, because I hate lying. I like hate like I have a lot of trouble even like exaggerating in my own content, honestly, and that gets me into a lot of trouble in my personal life because I like feel like I have to be honest, which I think I can probably like maybe even take a step back from. But what were you gonna say? What was the point?
I was gonna say, to me, when I talk about like exploring a medium in a new way, like it's kind of like bouffon clowning, which is where you kind of like dress up as a character and you put yourself in the environment and you're kind of like pranking the people around you. Like Borat is bouffon, right? Like he's dressing up, he's becoming this character, and he's doing all these things that like with the greater purpose of like saying something. But historically, that kind of like comedy, the joke was on sort of the people that you were interacting with, right? So the people that you were meeting in person. Now the medium has or the world has changed where in order to execute on that kind of comedy, the joke is not on the people in the video.
Yeah.
It's on the people watching the video. So
Right.
like, you know, when people watch my videos sometimes, or when I would make videos in that style.
Yeah, that style, yeah.
And they watch that and they're like, I can't believe you would do that, like blah blah blah. Like the video where I walk around Manhattan and I tell women to smile more. Like I think that's a great example of like the
Which
people
I think was that my idea, the smile more? It was your premise.
I had a premise, and
then I said smile more was the thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was
just brag.
Yeah. It's a great video, and it's a great example of the people in the comments, the people watching who are getting worked up about it. They're the ones that are pushing the point that I'm trying to make. And the people that are watching the video and know it's a joke, they get to enjoy the comedy.
Wait, so when people are getting upset at a video like that, what are they saying? They're getting mad at you.
They're like, oh, like it's crazy how like men don't understand that like we don't want to be told to smile more.
Right, which
and
is
I'm
the
like,
point
no, I
that
know,
you're making.
and I'm like making fun of someone that would think that that's an okay thing to do.
Right. Right.
And like, but the line there is if I actually went around and did that to people that were unsuspecting, as opposed to like having you in the video and my mom and other comedians and friends, that's the line that I don't like to walk, because I don't want to inconvenience anyone in real life.
Right.
I don't want to upset
just your
anyone
friends
in real
and family.
life. No. Well, no, it's
no, I'm kidding. But
inconvenience in the way where like I don't want to like I don't want to interrupt someone's day unannounced. Like if I asked you to be in that, or you know my friend Liz, like you guys would just like it, you know that we're like making
it's a joke.
something.
We're
exactly,
like
and you know what
on
I'm doing.
A joke. It's not a
And so that's where I think that medium of kind of like good prank, you know, has evolved, or like or Buffon. And so where the joke is not on the person in the video, it's on the audience.
Yeah.
And that's how the medium shifted.
How do you see yourself and your character in these videos? Because you often portray yourself as like not the protagonist in many ways. Like you're sort of a very like flawed person, but you're always kind of like stepping in it a little bit, right?
Yes.
Like was that
like not just in those videos,
but like even today, like the most recent video you did.
Exactly.
Like, it's you kind of like doing something kind of wrong or like misreading or what's sort of the thinking behind that, or how do you feel like that expresses?
The character is someone that's usually wrong, but believes wholeheartedly not that they're right, but that there's nothing wrong. And I think a lot of things that people read in the world as malicious are just people being kind of careless, and or just not thinking about other people first, or considering other people. I think that's kind of where a lot of the comedy is born out of in my work, and in that character is just like someone not ignoring social cues, but just like misreading them a little bit. And I think a character like that can say a lot. Like in the last video, it was this character, Yvette was playing my girlfriend, and we get into a car accident, and when Yvette wakes up, she is when I wake up, Yvette has had surgery, reconstructive surgery, and left me for a doctor. They're like the doctor that did her reconstructive surgery. And when I find Yvette, she is now played by Sienna Huber Ross. Like that's what the doctor.
Who's a model.
Yeah.
And I'm not offended.
Which
at
was
all.
really funny because I was like, I have to pick someone that Yvette won't be upset that like
because she's just so objectively hotter than me that it's like not even controversial.
Yeah.
It's like, well, yeah, I mean, she literally has modeled in the past. Now she's a very funny stand-up comedian, and she also, I mean, I guess she might still model. I don't know,
Yeah.
but
there were very few people that I could have cast in that role. There were very few people I could have cast in that role.
Thank you.
I have this conversation with Sienna Yvette where I'm like, why would you leave me? And she's like, I basically, I'm like, why could you leave me? She's like, you were in a coma. I was like, yeah, for 6 days. And she's like, that's almost an entire week. And basically I'm like, I can change. And she's like, well, in the ways that I want, you're not capable. And the character basically takes that as an affront. Like she's saying that he doesn't have it within him to be a better man because he read that as I don't want to be with you because I need a better man. When in reality, she left him because the doctor was a woman. And she's gay.
And that's like the reveal.
And the character like changes in all of these ways for another person that she not only didn't ask for, truly didn't want. And he never stopped to think about why he was changing or what the person actually wanted or meant. And so I feel like he was a character who just didn't take a second to think about why he was doing anything. He just went with it because he felt personally offended and minimized.
Right.
Yeah.
So when you make these videos, like some of them like, get very abstract. This one's like a little bit more grounded, like what you know, like there's a character arc, like what you're describing is sort of like more
traditional.
Yeah, like in reality, it's like X, Y, Z kind of. So when you create a new video, are you like looking at your own life and you're thinking like, oh, what am I thinking about right now? Or what's like the source or the kernel of inspiration that then like flowers into something like that?
So if there's ever any meaning in my videos, it's never something that I set out to say, but it's something that I do want to say. But I find that the meaning comes to me as I'm writing. Like, there was a video where I had so I'll have an idea. I'll see a video online and I'm like, oh, I wish they did this, or oh, I didn't like this. And on that, I will build. Like that's where I build everything from. Even this like longer stuff that I'm working on. It's like I saw something in the world where I was like, that's like people were misled, or like something. I just it's born a lot of the times out of something where I want to give people something where they otherwise aren't expecting anything or asking for anything. And just delivering them something greater than they would have expected. But I think for the example that I have there is there's a comedian, Nate Krieger. I hope I'm saying his name right. We follow each other, and he had this video where he was like leaving his friends at a like on a grassy park area, and they're like, "Oh, dude, your shoelace is untied." And he like bends over to tie his shoelace, and it's like a pretty long shoelace, and that's funny. But I thought that the shoelace was gonna be really long. Like I thought the shoelace was gonna be like insanely long, and I was like, oh, like in that example, it was something that I liked. Like I was like, that's funny. I just wish that he did this. And so I was like, well, what does the video look like if the shoelace is insanely long? Like, what does it look like if the shoelace isn't 6 feet long? What does it look like if it's 100 yards long? And my brain always goes to narrative. Like, what story can I tell? And so I was like, all right, well, what story can you tell along a 100-yard shoelace? And I just kind of sat down and I let my mind wander, and I found a story. And the story was about this guy who's walking on the West Side Highway, and he walks by this guy who like basically littered He just like dumped a bag of Doritos over his head, and he turns around. The guy behind the phone is Jared Kirsch, and he's like, "Hey," and I turn around. I had dumped the bag of Doritos, and he's like, "Your shoelace is untied."
Right.
And I'm like, or I like walk.
Which again is sort of like a little prank on the audience.
Exactly. It's
any
all
misdirect
yeah, exactly.
is like, I'm kind of pranking.
Yeah.
Like that's kind of your
yeah,
like,
exactly. I think that's at the heart of it.
Yeah.
But basically this whole story gets told along the shoelace, and the whole time the character is holding onto the shoelace and following, like letting that guide him.
Yeah.
And at the end, a character basically tells him that like he needs to forgive her is where we arrive at. That's what the character says. And Jared's like, oh, I don't know how. And then the character brings him in close, like my character did at the beginning. He's like, you let go. And then Jared turns and he's like been holding onto the shoelace the whole time. And you hear an echo, like a voice echo in the background. It's like, don't let go.
Right.
And he lets go. And I didn't set out to tell a story about letting go, but that was something that, I had definitely been thinking about, is like how to let go of some things. And so I think the things in my life, I don't set out to explicitly write about them or have them seep into my work, but they do. But I can't set out to say something. I have to let the meaning come naturally like from the story. And it does often.
Interesting. I'm so the opposite. Like I literally come from the other end where I'm like, oh, what am I thinking about? And then I go into it.
Yeah. I think that's probably why my stuff is it's abstract, is because
because you can work in the abstract and then sort of find the meaning that way. Like you're like, if X, then Y, and then sort of like go on that train.
All my favorite stuff, like you think you're watching one thing, and then at the end you realize that there was a through line pulling you through all of the randomness, all of the absurdity. There was something pulling you through, and at the end you find out what that was, and the whole thing comes together. So like if you ever go to like a Mike Birbiglia show, right? He's telling you stories that are it's like the whole thing is this giant narrative, but he's like jumping from story to story to story, and at the end he sticks the landing and he's like, and this is, and this is what it's all basically been about. And you're just like, and it's just done so flawlessly where you're like, yeah, that is what that is what all that was about.
Right, but it like comes together sort of at the end, and then you have something to think about.
Because he's telling you like a story, like he breaks up like the main story and then he intersperses other stories between it.
Right.
And it really just feels like a journey, and that's the stuff that I want to make. Like Kurt Vonnegut, it's the same thing where he will, he's telling this huge story, but there's you really arrive at this grand point. I feel like Charlie Kaufman, it's the same thing. Gary Goldman and some of his work too. Bo Burnham. And so it's that it's getting it's just like finding meaning where you didn't expect to is so special, because that's when you're ready to receive it.
Well, I think which is also the power of comedy as well. Like people aren't, their like defenses are down, they're laughing.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that I find to be so powerful about comedy, is that you can actually change someone's mind.
Yes. Yeah.
I think that's like one of the few ways you might actually be able to make someone think differently about something. And it's because they're not expecting it. Yeah. And they're just ready to laugh.
And to that point of that's how you can actually, affect change. I look at all the things that I admire in other mediums, and I'm like, what does that look like done explicitly for this place? So like, what would Kurt Vonnegut, what would Mike Birbiglia, what would Charlie Kaufman, Gary Goldman make if they were not doing these other things, but if they were doing this? And
this being the internet.
And so I think to me, it's like, that's the inspiration. And then it's like, well, what do I want to do? Like, if those are the things I admire, how do I create from that if those are the things that I want to see in the world.
Right. And like for the medium.
Yeah,
specifically.
exactly.
That's great. So where are you headed?
I want to keep making videos. I'd love to. My dream would be like sometimes people ask me, they're like, oh, what do you like if someone gave you $1 million, like what would you do? Really, like what I'm doing now, just maybe with more people, right? I love telling stories, and in whatever capacity that reveals itself over the length of a career, I'm super excited for, and I just want to keep making stuff and having that be the primary focus of my life. A dream of mine would be to, and you just got to say it out loud, I want to have like basically a really short film studio where I am one of like 3 or 4 creators, and our explicit mandate is narrative fiction made for the internet. I think the only people that really do that right now is like Almost Friday TV,
which you've worked with.
Yeah, so I've written
which you
for
have.
them.
I mean, to your point about like if you had a little bit more money, you had a little bit of budget for a video that you made with them called Escaping the Friend Zone.
Yeah.
When Max showed me this video, I sobbed. I cried. He sent me an early cut, like right before it went live. And he was like, can you like just give me some thoughts? Because Max and I run each other, like everything by each other. And like that's like such a special relationship that we have. You're actually, by the way, the only person I trust in that way. Like I would never take someone's advice the way that I've taken your advice, because I know like you fundamentally know what I am doing, even though what we are doing is so different. But you like, we have like such a great, anyway. But so Max sent me his video and he FaceTimed me and he was like, okay, watch it. And I was like, okay, I'll call you back in 10 minutes when I'm done watching it. I literally FaceTimed him back sobbing, like in tears, because I was like, this is actually what I really thought was, and I think I said this to you at the time, I was like, this is so good, you're going to blow up and leave me. Oh, yeah. I was like, I thought we had more time. I literally was I PMSing? Yes.
Maybe.
And yes, that's true.
And yes, I can usually call that.
Yes. And Max definitely always knows when I am on my period, and that's just something I live with.
Well, I don't know when you're on your period. I know when you're about to be on your period.
Luteal. Yeah. The luteal phase really gets me every time. Yeah. But if you haven't seen that video, Escaping the Friend Zone, it's unbelievable. But I think it just speaks to like your talent. Like when you do have like a little bit of a team, a little bit more, because you had an outside director, you had like a full cast. Yeah. And it was just really incredible to see. And I really loved it. Thanks. So I'm just excited for like, I mean, that's what I want you to keep doing, stuff like that. That's like, and that was a 10-minute video, you know, so it wasn't like an hour, it wasn't like a full-length movie, but like, I can see so clearly that like you can do so many types of things because you have such an impressive brain and you have such an amazing sense for the internet, of course, but also, I mean, I think I'm always very impressed by people who think so differently from me because I'm so literal and I'm so like tethered to reality and you aren't. Yeah. Like you'll just create absurdism, you'll create dream sequences, you'll do things that are so outside of the box. And I'm just, I don't know, I'm just sort of in awe of that.
Thank you.
So a lot. That's just a long-winded compliment.
Yeah. I mean, everyone should be so lucky to have someone that believes in them. Or just that will just tell you to keep going. Because that's all this is just
keep going.
It's a stamina. It's a feat of stamina.
It's a marathon and a sprint, honestly, because because you have to be so prolific to be online, but you also need to never end. So
I think this is something that Eric Spoelstra, the coach of the Miami Heat, said. Okay, good. Which is people overestimate what you can do in a day and underestimate what you can do in a year. And I think that that's really smart because, I mean, how many days do I get to the end of it and I'm like, fuck, I didn't do as much as I like said I was going to do. But like, I mean, when you look back on a year, you're like, wow, I did so much. And so if you operate with that mentality of like, okay, each day is not like this grand challenge of like doing everything, but it's inching it's inching to the year and to the decade and to the life. I think that helps a lot. And also to the point of Almost Friday, doing basically their YouTube channel, because they all do so many different things. Like they do like short form sketches, they do long form YouTube, really short films, and then they all, they do podcasts and they travel for events and stuff.
Yeah,
and they do live
stand
shows.
up and
And I
improv.
feel like each of the things that they do are all fantastic, but I'm curious, like, what would an organization look like if you were just focusing on
the one
narrative
thing.
and having the tour, maybe like the vloggy aspect, like the nonfiction stuff, be born out of that. And so that's I wanted to do that. I would love someone to give me $1 million so I could hire 3 people that love narrative fiction. I could hire 2 editors who would double as camera people, and then I could also hire 2 producers and give everyone $60K. That's $480,000, and have another $520,000 to just make stuff. And we'll vlog all the stuff we're doing. We would do premieres of the work that we're putting out on a monthly basis, and just have that be the thing. Because I love working with other people, and I find that just being around it's just more fun with other people, and I think that a lot of my work can be a little bit solo at points, which is good.
But you're also good at like collaborating. You've done a lot of collaborative videos recently, which is cool.
Yeah, it's like, Alistair or Nick, right?
Yeah.
Like,
I would love to be able to style and voice.
I would love to be able to like hire them and just do it together. Just like have that be your full-time job. So I think that's I can't speak to the greater internet for what they yearn for, but it's what I yearn for, is to see narrative fiction on the internet, and you have to make what you want to see. Yeah. Because,
I think the number of views you get and likes on the things you already put out, I think it's pretty proof of concept-y for that people want that, and they enjoy it when they see it, even if they don't explicitly like know that that's what they want.
For it. Yeah. Well, it's that is all. Like, I feel like there's a few tenets of things that like keep me going, and one of them is like, if Henry Ford asked people what they wanted, they would have said faster horses. And so it's like,
and he's
you have to give people what you see, what you and so when I make stuff, I'm like, what's my car? Like,
that's great. Okay, so last silly question, and then I'll release you for the day. So to hang out with me more, probably. So what's your most embarrassing moment?
I mean, when I was in college, I went, like, a group of older people, like I was a freshman, and like it was like juniors and seniors that were in a fraternity I wanted to join. Took me sake bombing, and while I like
how that's an activity. It took me sake bombing
just to get to know me, to see if I was cool. And I had my first sake bomb ever, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna throw up. I'm like for sure gonna throw up like right now. And so I got up and I ran to the bathroom. We were on the 2nd floor of the restaurant. Someone was in there. I run down to ask the hostess where the bathroom is. Projectile vomit before I can finish my sentence. And it doesn't hit her. I didn't projectile on her. I projectiled near her. And she was like, the bathroom's over there. And so I go to the bathroom and I clean myself up, and I go back upstairs, and I'm like, well, thank God I threw up on the 1st floor, because everyone's on the 2nd floor, so I'm good. I can join the fraternity. Nobody knows that this happened. So I'm like, okay, just like play it cool the rest of the night. Just sip a beer. Just get out. Just crawl your way to the finish line. And so I'm just sipping a beer, just hoping nobody asks anything. when the owner of the restaurant comes up and he points at me in front of the entire table and he's like, he can't be drinking. And they were like, what are you talking about? He gave you his ID. He's fine. And they were like, no, he can't drink because he threw up on the hostess. And I was like, near the hostess.
You said that?
Yeah. And I did not join that fraternity.
Oh, no.
So that was tough. And then flash forward a few months, maybe it was like the end of the year at this point. That happened at the start of the year. So I get in like a Uber pool, and there were two guys in it, and they were talking about like this like legend around campus of this idiot freshman who threw up at Octopus Sushi on the hostess and didn't get into the fraternity that he wanted to get into. And I'm sitting right next to them and they're talking about it. And I'm like, but maybe he was just nervous. but maybe that guy was nervous, and maybe we should have a little bit more empathy.
A little weak stomach.
Yeah. Maybe he didn't drink that much in high school and he was really excited about the prospect of joining these of acceptance into the brotherhood, and he let that get in the way.
Oh, no.
And so, yeah, didn't join the fraternity.
But you got into another one.
I did a different one, and it was the right one for me.
And that's beautiful.
Yeah.
When you threw up on them, they didn't care. They were like, welcome, we all do this.
Exactly.
Wow, that was very vulnerable and beautiful. Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Cool. Any parting words? Anything you want to plug? Where can we find you?
You can find me across social media, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, at former teen heartthrob. That is at FORMERTENHEARTTHROB. Maybe I did an extra E in there somewhere, but that's where you can find me. Check out my videos. If you like them, shoot me a message. Love to hear from people. If you think they're bad, I do actively seek out criticism online. Like, if I see someone leave a really like critical comment on someone else's videos, I've DM'd people and been like, hey, loved this hate comment you left on their video. If you had any feedback for me, what would that be? And
what?
and they'll get back to me and they'll have some really like interesting feedback.
That's crazy.
It's helpful.
Really?
I mean, some people aren't hating to hate. They're just like pointing out things.
Giving.
Yeah, they're just like, hey, you mentioned this in your video about things that were frustrating you. This is why it's probably happening. And like, because people vent online and they're like, I can't believe, like, I don't know why when I do this happens. And so, yeah, sometimes people leave really insightful feedback and I'll reach out to them.
Do you ever do that with people who've commented on your work videos initially?
Yeah.
And like ask them to have a conversation with you?
Right? Like there was a video that I made where someone left a comment and they were like, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, what made you say that? And they were like, oh, I said that because X, Y, and Z. And I was like, oh, that's actually really interesting. We agree on X and Y, and the reason why we got to Z is because it was the best of the options that we had given platform restrictions and, blah, blah, blah. Like, so if we were just making this for YouTube or for a movie, like, we actually could have done it the way you were talking about. And we were having
like a full conversation. Wow.
Yeah, so.
Wow. Good for you. Thanks. Well, thank you so much, Max, for coming onto the pod.
Thanks for having me.
This has been a delight.
Yeah.
You're such an important fixture in my life, and I appreciate you. And I probably don't say that enough.
I appreciate you. Actually, you do say it a lot.
Do I say it a lot?
Yeah, you say it enough, for sure.
Okay, that's good. I'll stop saying it.
No, you can keep saying it, but I feel like it's an appropriate amount.
I think it's because I'm also super mean to you sometimes.
It's okay.
Anyway, okay. Love you so much.
Love you too.
I'll see you at home.
Okay, bye.